the theme for this year's festival is citizens, and it's taken from this book written by John Alexander. And the idea of it is that the key to fixing everything is all of us.
Citizens is really a way of seeing the moment in time we're living in. At the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th, what we lived in was what I call the subject story, a story that said that the right thing to do was keep our heads down and get what we're given. And out of the two world wars, we created another story, which is what I call the consumer story, which says the right thing to do is to pursue self-interest. And I believe what we're living in now is the collapse of that story. And I think what's emerging in this time is what I call the citizen story, hence citizens. What that story says is the right thing to do actually is to get involved, to share your ideas, energy and resources and contribute them to the pursuit of the best society as a whole. When Nigel told me that we were going to be using citizens as the theme for the whole Innovation Festival, I have to say my first reaction was to be somewhat shocked and very flattered, but then very excited, just because I think we see so many different ideas flow from it, because it's just a different way of seeing the world.
We're going to work with John and his team, and we're going to look at every sprint and every hack and take a view on what would citizens do.
I think it's in the DNA of the Innovation Festival to start with. The idea of a festival bringing together people from all sorts of different backgrounds with all sorts of different ideas. And then I think more broadly, the idea that we'll be thinking about people differently. We'll be saying, how can we actually create the circumstances and the opportunities that make it meaningful and joyful for people to get involved in shaping the world for the better. We know that in this moment in time, water companies are under a lot of pressure, and it's basically because of this story in many ways. We just can't sustain an attitude to our natural resources that we are consumers, that we can just take as much as we want and pay as little as we want. If water companies can help us relate to our natural resources, relate to nature differently, then I think there could be some really powerful ideas and solutions that arise from that. So my biggest feeling about the Innovation Festival is huge excitement.